Yeah, so I'm going to take out all that insulation all the way down. Just in between these two 2x4s here. All the way down to the floor. And that way I can get it all cleaned up and let it dry. Okay, I know what to do. So we thought we had all the leaks fixed in the laundry room and the wall. If you remember, I did another video where I had to run to the store and get the parts and things, but they're all on this bucket. So I'm going to end up going down there and but I'll go down there and do some work. Alright, so I had to come down here to where the main water line comes in and turn that valve off, just like I did when I had the leak before. If you want to see that other video, make sure to go and check it out. It's a much longer, drawn out video than this one. So I opened the valves to all the hot water for like the kitchen and the sink down here and the bathroom upstairs, so that it will drain the water out, the hot water on. Once that's all drained out, then it'll be safe for me to go ahead and cut that water pipe up there and start doing the repairs. Alright, so this is the hole I knocked in the wall. If you notice right there, that's kind of hard to see. Okay, you can see them now. I put those 3 scratches on there and that lines up with where the leak was, or is, or whatever. It's not doing it right now because I got the water off. So I'm going to have to cut that portion out and replace it. And these are my parts I've got here. This is the pipe cutter. That's a piece of pipe I'm going to use to put in replacement of the section that I cut out from up here. It's wider. It's a new wider piece, but it's a 3/4 inch. So I've got these. The pipe will fit over that, and then the other end will fit into a portion of this. But where I cut that out is where I'm going to put this new piece of pipe. And then these are the 3/4 inch pinch clamps. They're clamps that you put around it and clamp it down. And this is my pincher clamp thing that clamps these down. So I'm going to set my phone up over here somehow. I've got my little tripod. I'm going to put it behind me so that it will, I think I'll just set it up there on that ledge looking that way, and just see how it turns out with my video. And I will end up taking out drywall all the way down to the floor so that I can get that wet insulation out and get this thing dried. So I'm going to cut that pipe. I'm going to use my little handy dandy pipe cutter. And anyway, it's this little pipe cutter. It's got that flat area that the pipe fits in, and then when you squeeze it, right, it gives it a nice, good, thorough through cut. And on the wall here, I had marked straight across is where that leak is. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to cut it right here, right there where that leak is. Can you see it? But anyway, I'm just going to give it a good cut. And you can do it with one hand. There you go. See how easy that was? I did it with one hand. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a section out here, and then I'm going to put that whole new piece in. So So I've got enough of this to put in a nice little section. So I think I'm going to do it about like that. So I'm going to go ahead and cut this little pipe here. I probably ought to cut that in as well, because it's like it's got stuff on it. So I'm going to cut this in a little bit off of this end and make it straight. And then so just take this thing and just put it on there, kind of line it up at a good 90-degree angle. Just give it a good good cut all the way through. And there you go. Look at that. Perfect cut. That was perfect enough. You know what I'm going to do? So I'm going to take one of these, and this is the regular PEX. This is a 3/4 to 3/4 connector, or whatever you call this thing. It's a polyalloy coupling. Let me show you what this does. Right, so I got my pipe here. This will fit in the pipe. Kind of, yeah, give it a good push. All right, and you want it to go all the way in like that. Now, on here, one thing you want to do, especially if you're doing like a pipe that's already in, or a long section, or even a little short section, is you want to have your PEX 3/4 inch pinch clamp already on it, because once you put that on, you can't put it on there. But luckily, I've got the other end to slot it up on, so I'll just slide it right up there. And the way this is see those little things on the outside there? That kind of guides you on how far out this thing needs to be. So I think it's good enough. It's straight enough. It's on there. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to get that crimper, and I'm going to crimp this. The cincher, whatever you want to call it. And this is the cincher thing here. It's got a little thing here. You can move that, and then you can open it up. It's kind of a ratchet thing. If you see, it's got that little opening there. See the little opening? That little opening fits over that little bump out thingy. See that little bump out thingy? So little bump out thingy will fit. Let me see if I can do it so you can see it there. Anyway, it fits right in there. And then you squeeze the two handles, and it ratchets in, because it's got this little piece here where it ratchets in. You hear it? And it stays. You can't pull it back open, so you have to push, 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 push until you get to the point to where you can go no further, and then it'll come right back out. So I'm going to go ahead and see if I can do that, but I got to hold this with one hand and do that with the other. See if I can get this done. I was trying to see if I could do it where you could see it. But doing it with one hand starting out is a real pain. So I try to get it in there. Okay, now it's in there. I'm trying to hold it. So what I'm doing is I'm taking one side of this and I'm pushing it against my chest, and the other side I'm pushing with my hand, so that I can. I almost messed up. See how I pushed down? Almost messed up. So I got to push it back up. Line it all back up. All right. So I'm just going to do this real quick. Best I can get in there. Okay. All right, here I go. Oh, okay. Now that it's in there, I'm going to go ahead and give it a good push. And I'm going to do it until I can't do it anymore. right? So I've got it in as far as I can without doing it anymore. I'm gonna let go. See how it crimped it on there? Can you see that? It's a really good, nice, tight fitting. Yeah. All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to end up cutting this to length that I need to replace in there, but I'm not going to know what length this is going to be until I cut this and put it up there and just kind of match it up. But you can see now how this piece will fit up in there like that, right? And then crimp it there as well. And then do the same thing down at the bottom section, right? So I'm going to end up with two of these coupling pieces and 4 of these connectors. So it'll be 2 of these crimper connect, or whatever you call those things, like one here, and then down here would be another coupler with 2 connect or crimpers, whatever you call those things. All right, so let me kind of cut a piece out of each one of these so that I can put a section in there like that, and we'll get it all crimped up, and then we can turn that water back on and test it out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and get my little handy dandy PEX pipe cutter, and I'm just going to go ahead and cut a piece out of this. It's got some drywall stuck to it. Alright, I'm not going to cut too much out of it. Oh, got that one a little crooked. Alright, so I'm going to go down just a pinch. Alright, there we go. Alright. And I'm going to go right above it. I'm going to cut out another piece and try to make sure you get a good 90-degree angle on it before you start cutting. And there we go. Alright, so I got my section here. So now I'm going to know how long to cut this thing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to almost fell off. I'm standing on top of the dryer. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put that crimp ring on here, push the coupling up in it, and go ahead and crimp it up there. Well, actually no, I'm not going to go ahead and crimp it because I need to know, I need to be able to, how am I going to do this? Maybe kind of tough to get them both in there. Huh. Yeah, I may need to. This, I think that one will move. Yeah, there we go. That one will move up and down. That way I can get that in there, because this one goes up and then kind of has a big bow turn in it. So it's maneuverable. So that'll work for me. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to cut this right there. So I got my length where I want it cut. So I'm going to go ahead and put this on there, and I'm going to definitely line it up so that it's got a nice 90-degree angle. Yeah, right there. I'm just going to go ahead and make sure I got a 90-degree angle. There we go. It's fairly easy cutting through this. Just don't get your fingers in it, because that thing will definitely cause problems with your fingers. But I got my little section cut out here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do my coupling on this one. I'm going to do my coupling and my, see, get that out there. But before I put this on here, I need to go ahead and put one of those on there so that I can do my crimp. All right, so I slide this on. Right, just go ahead and slide that up there. Put this in it. See? So now I push this down here, and it bumps up against these little tabs on the side, and it positions that in the right position. And then I could turn it and have it line up with this one. Let me do that. All right, so I'll spin that around a little bit. That way I can line them up with the one above. See? Get my crimper, and I'll go ahead and do this just like I did the last one. I take that little bump out thing right there, and I put it in there. Pull it out. Put it in there, and I'm going to put one side of the handle on my chest and the other pull with my arm so that I can hold this pipe. Hold everything in the right spot for my coupler, the 3/4 inch pipe, and the crimp thingy. So I'm going to go ahead and line that up a little bit better on my chest. There we go. So now that I've got it started and it's holding in there, then I can take my hands and I can just give it a good push. And hear the ratchet? Okay. And I just keep doing it until I can't do it anymore. And it gets to a point to where, all right, now I'm to the point to where I can't do it anymore. Right? Which means it's this part's pushed in, squeezed it as much as it possibly can to where it's designed to. And then I just let the ratchet out. So there you go. That's all crimped on, it's ready to go. That one's all crimped on and ready to go. Now I'm going to do the same thing for right here and right here. And that'll be my piece that I put in to replace where I cut out the leaky part. So instead of talking to you, I'm just going to jump in there and get it done. So I need, well, I need to make sure I got my pinch clamps. So I'm getting out my 2 pinch clamps, one for each side. And I'm going to go ahead and set those down, but I'm going to go ahead and put this one in the bottom and then that one in the top. See that? What did I forget? It's so easy to forget. My pinch clamp. Yeah. But I'm going to make sure that's turned so all these pinch pieces are pretty much facing the same direction. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to push this one up, and I'm going to put it on there. But before I do that, I'm going to put my pinch clamp up there on it, and I'm going to push that down as far as it will go, and move that pinch clamp down until it bumps up against those tabs, right? And it's sitting there good. I need to go ahead and put my pinch clamp on this one as well, which I almost forgot again. So I'll go ahead and pull that up, put that pinch clamp on there. Get on there. Okay, there it goes. Go ahead and pull that down. Luckily, where it goes up, and then it goes over the ceiling, kind of has a big bow in it. It goes up and then bows over, and it's got maneuverability in there. A lot of times these things are clamped down somewhere, and they don't have maneuverability. So you gotta, if yours is that way, you just have to figure out how to work around that. But what I'm going to do I'm gonna put that up in position there. Get up there. There we go. So I got it right there up against those little tabs. And luckily this pipe is fat enough to where these don't want to slip down, because it's really annoying when they want to slip down while you're trying to do your work. But this is ready to be what do you call it? Clamped down? Cinched, crimped, or whatever you want to call it. So I'm just going to go ahead, I'm going to put that on there. Get up here. I got my feet on the edges of the dryer down there. I can't stand on parts of the dryer. I don't want to dent the dryer with my weight. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do this one down here first. Alright, so you got to make sure it's on there all the way and in there properly. I need a better spot for my other foot. I can't balance and do that at the same time. So I need to put my foot up here on top of that water here, just for balancing purposes. Okay, there we go. So it's in a good spot. Okay, so is it on there straight? Yeah, it looks like it's on there straight. Yeah, it's on there straight. Okay. So I'm going to put that on there and just go ahead and start giving it a good squeeze around it. Make sure that's all on there right. Sometimes you can't tell. Just got to move it around just a pinch just to make sure. All right. Okay. Oh my God, get on there. Okay. There we go. Sometimes they slip off. Sometimes they want to move apart, so you just got to work around that and try to make sure you get them lined up properly and the thing cinched down properly. So yeah. All right. All right, here I go. Got it all the way down. All the way down where I can't go no more. And then the little ratchet part lets you take it off. So it's on there, it's tight, squeezed down. Now I'm going to do the one on top. Come on. It's in a bad, odd spot here. Try not to pull on this cable. Oh my gosh. I'm guessing if I did this for a living, I would have been able to crank that thing down immediately. My problem is I'm trying to balance up here as well. All right. Oh, come on. I think I need to work out. There it goes. All Alright, it's all the way down. Alright, wonderful. Alright, let me get this. I'm gonna bring this over here. Ooh, look at that. Let's see, up there is where I did the other one. Alright, where's that? Alright, right there is where I did that other one. That was on a tough spot. And then right here is that one. Alright. Nice little close-up of my work. Now that I've got that done, I got that section of pipe replaced. And I'm going to go turn that water back on. And I'm just going to see. There we go. You can see back there where it was, that stream of water was just cutting a hole in there. And got all wet down in there, so I'm going to end up removing all that insulation down there. Right, got to cut out that drywall. See what I'm standing on? Alright. So I'm going to end up having to take all that apart and clean that up. But let me go turn that water back on and see what happens. I'm taking the long walk down the driveway. Woo! Somebody's target practicing. Woo! Somebody's still target practicing. Alright. The long walk down the road. Woo! So I'm back down here. People driving up and down the road sightseeing. And somebody's target practicing back there in the background. Oh, so I got to get down in here where my valve is that comes to the house, where the main line comes in. Ah. Alright, set that to the side. Go down in there. This is where the valve is down there that I don't know if I pointed it out to you before, but that valve's in the off position. So I need to turn it to where, yeah, anyway, you'll see. Alright, so now I got it turned in the on position. It took me a little while. I was using this and it was slipping off a little bit. Just an old adjustable wrench, because I couldn't get the T-wrench down in there because that valve's tilted to the side. That's the way the water company did it. But now I've got to go in the house and check and see if everything inside's working okay. With cold weather coming up, I know that's down in the ground, but I got a crack here and I can put my finger through there, which means cold air will go down in there. Cold air will go down through there, through here, right, and get down in there. So with cold weather coming around, I need to put something over that, maybe a couple of layers of cardboard, and then put leaves or something over it, and something heavy to hold it down so the wind won't blow it away, because here we're going to get some cold weather. Okay, I'm back in the house, back up here on top of all this. The water's back on, and we turned the we turned the water off to the sink, so we had to let the air blow out. All right, there we go. So this has full pressure on it. Yeah, it's got full pressure on it. It's holding. This is the hot water side, and that's the cold water pipe. So the hot water pipe's holding good. Now that I got that leak fixed, I'm gonna probably a little bit later, not too much later, but I'm gonna end up taking this drywall off all the way down through there. So I got a 2x4 there, and a 2x4 there. So between those two 2x4s is where this leak was. Yeah, the drywall on the other side of the wall there. After it dries up, I'll know whether or not I have to replace it all. But definitely get all that wet insulation out of there. And it's wet back there on the floor. So I'm gonna have to make sure I move the dryer out of the way. I gotta clean the dryer vent anyway. And get that floor cleaned up. Get that wall dried out. And then later on, put more insulation in there and replace drywall and be ready to go. But anyway, I hope you here I am. I hope you enjoyed my new water leak. So wasn't a bad fix once you know the differences between the pipes and you know the fittings, the dimensions, and the tools you need. It's fairly easy. You just got to find the leak, right? You got to find the leak first. You got to figure out where it's at, and then figure out what kind of piping you have. You got to make sure you turn the water off to the house as well, because you don't want the leak to continue. And then what you do is you gather up whatever tools you need. And for me, I just needed the pipe cutter, the crimper thingy, right, the pinch clamps, the coupling, and a short length of pipe. And then just the physical labor of actually doing the work. Doing this myself, I probably saved a few $100s, maybe more. If I had a plumber come out here to do all this, it probably would have cost me $1,200, maybe more. But anyway, talk to you later.